All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 31 of the More Smarter Show with your hosts, Jake and Dylan. Jake, what do we have on the agenda today?
All right, today we got a solo episode, just us two. Again, this is usually the time when people log off and don't listen further when they hear that. But today we're going to talk about us. Dylan has some exciting news.
I would challenge that. I would challenge that first.
What, that people log off?
I think people like to listen to us, dude. We've gotten some good views in solo episodes.
We go from 7 viewers to 9 on solos.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Dylan, you got some exciting news to share. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I got an offer accepted on a multifamily house that I will be house hacking.
What's house hacking?
House hacking is when you live in a house and you rent out a portion of it, whether it's a unit or 2 units in this case, or a bedroom, and that pays for part of your mortgage.
So it sounds more smarter to me.
Exactly. So it is more smarter. I learned it from you. That is
still
obviously
house hack.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something, and like that's the thing too, is you literally say that you attribute house hacking, or at least the mindset of house hacking, to a lot of your success. And I think
So
that
true.
it's super important. And now, of course, the situation that it is right now is well first. So I called Jake yesterday and I just got this offer accepted yesterday, and I was so excited. It's like the biggest like news, I guess. I called Jake and he was like, "Yo, like tell me on the podcast. Don't tell me right now." So
well,
I guess
I didn't say wait for tomorrow when we're recording. I said let's record now. Let's stop what you're saying and let's start recording. And you were like, no, I can't right now. And I was like, okay, then just tell me.
Yeah. So that is obviously that would have been better because it would have been the first moment jitters, I guess, of it. And now I really know how it feels is representing all my clients of how exciting it is when you do get that offer accepted. But for this house, it's a 3-family house. That means there's 3 units and it's 3 different floors. The first floor is a 2-bed, 1-bath. Second floor is a 2-bed, 1-bath. Then there's a basement floor is a 1-bed, 1-bath, and that's where I would be living. They're all occupied right now. My mortgage is going to be 30 everything, $3,900. The current rent roll right now is $4,500.
Wait. So what percent down for down payment?
I'm putting 8% down.
8% down, and you're with taxes and all things, probably minus utilities, so not counting that, but taxes and insurance, you're looking at $3,900 a month?
Yes.
And the current rent roll includes with you living there, or no?
Not with me living there. So right now, actively, all 3 units are being rented out, and the total is $4,500. There's a lot of value add to the property as well. Every single kitchen, every single bathroom is super outdated. I think I can up overall the units to be renting out for like a total of $5,000 once I rent everything out. That being said, my goal with it is to rent out the top 2 units, live in the basement, in which if I rent those out at the market value of when they're updated, I will be pretty much breaking even on my mortgage, and I'll be living in the basement
amazing.
for
So
free.
you'll be owning the home, living there for basically free.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. There's so many things I can unpack with this because, let me start by saying that when people say the numbers don't work, I hear that all the time. Actually, right before we got on, I was talking to someone, like a lead candidate for my realtor business, who's telling me numbers don't work in New Jersey. And I said, what the hell does that mean? Like, there's so many levels to this, right? And I don't feel like going down too far here, but like the taxes, what am I trying to say? If you're living there for any sort of discount, does that not work for you?
Of course.
You can't lose
right?
if you're house hacking.
Yeah.
You right?
I completely agree, but the side question for me right now is for people that are living at home with their family or whatever, living for free, is living for free and stacking money better than living for $500 a month in your own house where you're paying towards your mortgage?
Which situation is your net worth going to be higher in 5 years?
Of course, you buy.
And then which situation is your net worth going to be higher in 20 years? That one's even easier.
In 40 years, yeah, exactly. It keeps going up and up. So that's where, to me, it's a no-brainer. But to a lot of other people, it's a bigger risk. And the reason why I'm so comfortable with it is not only have I seen a million different houses with clients, I've seen probably 25 houses for myself. And whether, like I traditionally am looking through, I'm scouring the market all for myself and making sure that the area, number one, is super important. And then number two are these like the numbers, I guess. The numbers have to, I guess, quote unquote, they do have to make sense
They
to an
do,
extent.
but what does make sense mean is more what I bring up, because if you're offering 10K higher than whatever you have your sale price at, the numbers
Mhm.
still make sense. If instead of 500 a month while living there, you're now paying 600 a month while living there, what the hell's the difference? That makes
Yeah,
no difference. So just buy the
totally.
house. That's someone always yelling at you. Buy the house. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about those numbers. Yes, generally it needs to make sense, but not granularly. It's a
Yeah.
big word.
Yeah, granted. Yeah, I can't even say that. So that is the mindset that I took going into this.
Yeah.
And it's not something I'm worried about either. I
You
can
didn't buy off market, right?
Yeah, no, it was on the
Another
market.
myth. It's another myth that I
It's
hear all the
totally.
time.
It is a big myth. So it's like you can't buy on market. I hear that all the time. My dad tells me that too. And there's some truth behind it where generally speaking, if you buy off market because it's not publicized to the world, you have the odds of getting a better deal. That doesn't always mean you're getting a better deal, but you have the odds because the world doesn't see that it's for sale. In comparison, on the other
Right.
side, of course it is. That being said, there's things to take advantage of when it is on the market. When it's listed in the winter, as this was, obviously there's a little bit less buyer demand. If it has horrible listing pictures, boom. If it
Right.
isn't in like if it's maybe on a main road and people are turned off on it a little bit, but
Sure.
there's an ample amount of things that you're able to take advantage of in terms of value when it's on the market too.
It really only matters when you're flipping. If you're flipping a house, I agree. I have flipped a house. I was a partner on one on the market, and we made a smaller return. It was more difficult, right? We had to wait longer because the seller needed to see it through longer. Of course, if you're selling it within the next year, yeah, then that you want it off market probably because you need a big discount.
Yeah.
But when you're not selling it, and when you're house hacking especially, again, it just doesn't matter. I'm
Totally.
sorry, but the sale price just doesn't matter if you're holding it for a long
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. And this has a septic too. So to a lot of people's concern, oh, septic, oh my gosh, so scary. I grew up with septics my whole entire life. I'm not scared of septics,
I am.
especially because I know I'm going into this with the leverage of having a good offer and also knowing how real estate transactions work. I'm going to get a septic inspection. If any one little thing goes wrong, I'm getting a credit for it. And I know I will.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if that, and let's just say it goes good and it's all right, it's 35 years old and I know it's near the end of its life. All I have to do is pump it every once in a while. And then once I had that all, squared away, I'm not planning on selling this house at least for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the septic is not a concern
Right.
for the next 10 years.
And that's the other thing. You're talking about terms, which is awesome. You don't care so much about the sale price. You're talking about the septic and what you can get for credit. That's where I agree. That's where the money is made. Their price, our terms. I just bought a house last year with the seller. It was off market, and the seller gave me this crazy price, and I said, "That's insane, but okay, I'll give it to you. Give me a 5% interest rate, seller finance, and like give me no closing costs and all these things." And he thinks he won. I think I won. We both won in our ways.
Yep.
But I came to closing with like $60K less than I would have if I didn't negotiate that. And to me,
Yeah.
that mattered a lot more than the sale price because I'm holding it for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. That's huge. And that's the mindset that a lot of people don't really take into real
Yeah.
estate. And you play the long game. You play the long game in real estate. And for me, also on top of that, because I'm living there, it just makes life sense too. And this is talking for whether it's clients or people that are just listening, that if you want to buy a house and it makes sense and you can afford it, and then why not?
It's doing it
That's
when
where,
you can, not when you have to,
yes.
right? I make the analogy a lot. Like if I pee before I go on a road trip, then my next pee is like nice and planned out at this rest stop of my choice. But if I forget to pee before a road trip, I gotta piss on the side of the road. I gotta piss in
Yeah.
Sparrows with a disgusting bathroom. Smells like
Yeah.
shit in
In a
there.
cup.
Like
Yeah.
I can't decide where I'm being. If I'm buying a house because I have to,
Mm.
my choices go out the window.
True. True. And now the plus of this obviously is the compound interest of owning real estate, especially young, in my opinion. I'm 23, you're 32. This is going to be my first property. You own multiple properties. By the time that you're the retirement age, these are the homes these are the investment funds. That's the way that I look at it. And I love risk in investments. I cashed out my retirement, my Roth IRA, and I put it all in Bitcoin. Granted, it's down right now, but I'm playing the 20-year game with that. But I'm also playing the 20-year game in real estate too, where the safe route is keeping my entire down payment, which is a lot of money at 23, and keeping it in the stock market, putting it in the mutual funds and all that sort of stuff. But that's not me. I would hate that. I would not enjoy that. I want to be playing big. I want to play the game of Monopoly, and you gotta buy houses to make money in
Yeah,
Monopoly.
it's funny you are associating house hacking with risky. I actually would fight to my death fighting the opposite. I think an IRA or a 401k is more risky than a down payment on an investment home.
I
But
agree.
I know what you mean.
I'm more saying the action itself. So
Yeah,
buying it
yeah,
itself.
totally. I mean, you're a landlord. Like most 23-year-olds aren't. I mean, you didn't buy the
Yeah.
house yet, but you will be a landlord
Yeah.
if this happens. And if the roof needs to be replaced, that's your cost.
Totally.
I'm going to try to make you
Totally.
really nervous. If the septic, that's like $40K. It's
Yep.
well water.
No, I
You
know.
probably tenants could fight each other. They could not pay rent. All these things.
Yeah. I know. So trust me, my dad has done a very good job of fear mongering what being a landlord is. And no, I mean he's thankfully I have great parents that are very knowledgeable in real estate. They own rental properties, and for any younger person listening too, I don't want you to think that I'm getting to this crazy level. I'm way above anything. My dad literally co-signed on this property. I would not have been able to on paper afford it. Obviously, I'm paying for the mortgage, I'm paying for down payment, everything. But on paper, as a real estate agent, you don't qualify for much.
Right.
So
So shout out to Dylan's parents for co-signing and for being like 2/5 of our listening base for this episode. So appreciate you
yes,
guys.
Exactly, right.
With my parents being the other two.
Yeah, yeah, and then Meg being the last
Yeah,
one. So
that's all 5.
I mean, I would say though that the biggest thing for me is you just have to take the leap, as we've talked about multiple times, whether it's taking the leap in entrepreneurship or taking the leap in homeownership and investing. You just really have to be a little bit risky. Make these risks educated.
Uncomfortable decisions.
Yeah, uncomfortable decisions is a better way of putting it. Yeah. Just go for it.
It's funny how no one questions putting, $100 or $500 per paycheck into a retirement account. And that's not risky or that's not timing, right? They don't care what the market's doing. It's just automatic. Yet when it's a physical action of buying a property with 5% down, low money down, where it's not that much money compared to how much money they put into their retirement account, that becomes a risk. It's just interesting how people think.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that's so standard is doing that. And if you do anything that's reversing that, then you're going against the grain, and it's a little bit more on the risky side.
And both are great.
Yeah, I agree. And the way that I look at it too right now is, what's the scalability from here? Is now I have the ability, the house was $500,000. So
That's one way to put it. That's funny.
So through my house, I mean, obviously you can talk about the leverage of real estate a little bit better than I can, but I only put 8% down. So
It's
8%
amazing.
of whatever that purchase price is. Now I own an asset that's worth $500,000, and I only have 8% of the money in there. You can't do that in the stock market.
No, you can't. Leverage is amazing. And so I'm going to transition this into my background, where any of our
Yeah.
7 viewers might be curious why there's a bus going by and why, it's sunny here. I'm in Florida, and I'm actually staying in Dylan's girlfriend's condo. So shout out. She's not, she's not there, but Meg and I are instead. And you're talking about taking a leap. You're talking about leveling up, and you're talking about, doing things against the grain. Being in Florida here it's been a week now, and we're going to be here for at least a couple more weeks. My business and Meg's business is all in New Jersey. So we've really had to outsource here. And of course, when it rains, it pours. It's pouring with business right now in New Jersey. People that we haven't heard from in a couple of months or years are now contacting us. And I'm like, of course, time I'm in Orlando.
Yeah.
And we're making it work. And I'm going to circle this back to your story here. This really starts with house hacking, because we're living for free through house hacking and owning a couple properties in New Jersey. So we're able to take this opportunity to pay your girlfriend rent, and she's our landlord for the month. Be a UCF student for a month because we feel like it. The chances you're able to take, or the risk, or whatever you want to call it, the opportunities you're able to have because 5, 6, 7 years ago we bought a house hack is amazing.
Absolutely. And you've only moved up since then. You bought another one, and then you bought a strictly investment. And that's the projection that I see for myself here with it is I'm saving money on the living right now so I can save up more money to buy the next one. And if I keep doing that over the next 10 years, it's a whole nother ball game.
Especially if you can keep moving into the property. That's a huge advantage. We're probably
Yeah.
done with moving, so we kind of lost that advantage, but we had it and it worked, and it's amazing because you could put less money down, the interest rate is less, and things can start making more sense because you don't, like we said, you don't have to start analyzing numbers like a flip, or even a rental property, because you're moving into it and adding value while you live there.
And then the ability too of taking advantage of any specific loan that is offered to you as your occupant, it's your primary house. That's also a massive plus. And when you really have to find a home run of a deal when you're buying a house that you're doing a strict investment, because you have to put
Yep.
more money down. There's a higher interest rate. There's a whole bunch of things that go into it.
Totally. I mean, we're not that I have money right now, but if and when I get money, because all my money's in my few deals that I already own, I'll be thinking, okay, should we put this into another house where if we're not moving into it and we're speaking conventional loans, we're going to have to put down, 20, 25% in New Jersey at these sale prices. That's a lot. And what are we going to make? A couple $100 a month? We already have properties to play the long game with and to appreciate and to retire with. So the next play wouldn't be, we don't really need that again. You know what I mean? So we're going to,
Totally.
not something we're thinking about yet because we're trying to build up again, but that'll be something to consider for us.
Totally. And that's something too that I think real estate investing is such a buzzword in America right now. And so many people are trying to get into it. Anyone with $100,000 is trying to buy an investment property, which is great, right? That's awesome. I think though, there's going to become a time where there's so many like landlords, not enough renters. And
I disagree. I think this is a renter society through and through. I think a lot of people
that,
want to be a landlord, but how many people do you talk to that want to and don't do it?
but I don't. Well, that's true. I talk to a lot of people that do that, but I don't think that there's a lot of. I think that people, if you're trying to find the great rental, you're not going to. There's going to be more of a buyer demand, I think, than there is a renter demand. Where this house that I'm buying is, there's more homeowners than there are landlords. Which
most places in New Jersey would be that.
It's probably a good thing. I think that's more of a future thing. But what I'm trying to get to with that is, I am similar in the sense of I want to be able to buy however many houses that make sense, house hack every single one of them. But I think there's a cap to it. I don't want to be, or at least for myself, I don't want to be, managing 20 rentals. Like,
So
that's not fun.
yeah, that's a good call. So what we can do, and Meg and I have discussed this when I'm talking about our next move, which again is at least a year away as we start building up, but we could sell properties we have. And there's a big motorcycle in the back. Sorry, I don't know if you hear it.
Yeah, I hear
But
it.
we're in Florida. So we could sell a property or two that we have and have all this money that we can then put into a larger asset. And I don't know, at the time, will we find that necessary or not? I mean, there's definitely that could have happened by now too. There was definitely some opportunities to sell. And might I have more properties and doors and cash flow and even equity? Yeah, probably. But for me, I mean, at least to this point, it's kind of like I've used this analogy, but when you're winning, I got this from someone else, but when you're winning the football game, you just take a knee. And if I have a great property, I just don't want to F with it. I just want to
Yeah,
leave it. I just
it's
want it to
true.
be just let the clock expire.
True. Yeah, and there's a there's a sense of knowing that you're in that position. There's a sense of self-awareness where you have to acknowledge, like, all right, I need to calm myself down. This is good where we're at right now, and I don't need to be, I don't need to be like striving as much to achieve more. And
Yeah, there's this term where trapped equity. You've heard of that?
mhm,
And I've heard that a ton, and I have trapped equity. But isn't that what it's for? It's for trapping. It's a retirement
mhm,
account. The
yeah,
point is, I don't need it now. I'm going to need it one day, and I want to trap it. If I was trying to be, a biggest real estate owner in the world, then yeah, I should keep leveraging and untrap my equity. But that's not how I view real estate personally. I view it as a vehicle, like a retirement account, like we talked about prior.
totally.
So I'm
Yeah.
trapping the shit out of it.
Yeah, and there's so trapping. That's you're putting the hardworking money that you made into something that you don't necessarily have to work as hard
It's
for.
compounding
It's
while
not
I sleep.
passive, but it's compounding exactly. And a great conversation that I had with my friend that I'll be able to connect all together. He wants to create a YouTube channel talking about guns and like marksmanship. And I told him, I was like, look, we're gonna start this YouTube channel right now. I'm going to hold up the phone. You're gonna say what your name is, what your brand is, whatever you want to do, and tell exactly what you do, and we're gonna post it right now. And he was like, oh no, dude, I can't do that. I'm wearing like just a sweatshirt and shorts. Like I can't be doing that. Like I'm like, dude, no one gives a crap. No one
Send him the
cares.
More Smarter Show, episode
Exactly. Yeah.
one.
So exactly. So, and I was telling him, I was like, dude, no one cares. Post it, and you don't have to wait for that perfect opportunity. He's like, no, I'm gonna wait till I go to work. I'm gonna be in this certain outfit. I'm gonna be in this certain environment. I'm gonna have a script. And it's like you're waiting for this perfect opportunity. I guarantee he's not gonna have it up for like another 3 weeks at least. And I think that exact same thing could be brought into real estate investing or any sort of business, but specifically real estate investing, where like my dad is saying, maybe you don't buy this house. We can buy a plot of land and develop it into a 3-family where it's brand new. And, that is great. That is a great idea. It's a home run if we can make it happen. How long is that going to take me, though? If I started right now to look for something like that, I'd probably find it in a year or two. And
And then,
I
yeah.
can buy it in a year or two still. So that's where my mind goes. I want to be able to compound this. I want to get started immediately and then scale from there.
I'm going to create a quote here. Perfection is an opinion. I don't know. Maybe that could be a little better, but the perfect time, like no one knows. I said this recently to my property management employee, and I said to them, like, we messed up, but they don't know that. Like, they don't know what other management companies do. Like, it wasn't a bad mistake. It was just like, oh, we sent the wrong, something in error, right? It was a human mistake. But it's not perfect, but it's like, they don't know it's not perfect. It's our opinion it's not perfect. So yeah, let's not do that mistake again, but perfection is what we make of it.
Yeah. That reminds me of that new Donald Trump movie where it's like
The Apprentice?
no, it's a movie. So
No, it's called The Apprentice.
oh, is it called The Apprentice?
So
Okay, yeah, I don't.
It was like last year it came out.
Okay, yeah. So it's like one of his 3 rules, and it's like no one is right. Only like you deny.
We just watched this like last week. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably where that came from subconsciously.
No, I hope not. I mean, that wasn't. Those aren't the same. Like deny. That's for me. That's a Jersey Shore reference. Ronnie, shout out Ronnie and Sam. You probably don't even know, but
I don't know.
He said deny in terms of cheating on Sammy. But yeah, this is a different situation. But to your point, the perfection of the good timing, the perfect timing, and the perfect outfit for the YouTube video. Like who's to say my outfit right now is not perfect?
Yeah.
Fuck off. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's definitely not perfect, but if you think it's perfect, that's fine.
Speaking
So
of that, actually, go ahead. I'll transition after.
yeah, so I'm actually transitioning into something new too, where that's only like the stepping stone too. You can do that. You can put this down payment towards this house. You can do it again. You can do it again. But money is only a tool to accomplish more. I don't see money as saving, 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 grab, grab. I think of now, okay, when I'm 27 and ideally I have 3 of these houses, 4 of these houses, I can now put that a down payment that I would put on another house and pay someone, and I honestly got this from you, and pay someone to film me as a real estate professional. And having like a great social media presence. I would almost say that has a better ROI than putting a property down. Maybe like a more of a flip house type. There obviously the
Yeah,
rental
yeah. No,
properties
I
are
got
wealth
it.
generating, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that is another aspect of it
The
too.
whole idea of investing into a business, yeah, because
Yes.
what you'll find is if you keep stacking properties, that's been my method, right? The passive income is there and the future income is there, but really it's business that generates cash flow. You're not going to be able to live off these properties for 20 plus years, right? With that
Yeah.
cash flow that's generating. For me, less
Yes.
because I have 3 single family homes. So I have less cash flow generally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll start to probably shift one day soon, in a couple of years or whatever, to thinking business wise and how can you generate more in your business, which the filming is an example.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I've seen just in the past probably 8 months what I can really do in my actual business and how much money I can make. And when you are living smart and you're able to save your money, it's the world is your oyster, I think. You're able to save your money, you're smart
Not
with it.
save.
You
It's a buzz.
you
It's a buzzword
make it is a
again.
buzzword. You make a great income and you know where to put it
That's
and you
right.
don't
I'm
blow
house poor as fuck. I have all that trapped equity,
it.
So, but that's cool. Like in the position of life I'm in, I'm so comfortable with that. A
Yeah.
lot of people wouldn't be.
Is that you would say that you're okay with that because like you really care about your net worth?
I mean, yeah, I care more about stacking, not necessarily like the number of net worth, but yeah, stacking, and it's like our lifestyle allows that to happen.
Mm,
If we had kids or if we, if I wasn't wearing a free T-shirt on every episode, then maybe not, right? I drive a
yeah.
Honda, it's just kind of what I like to do. It's not, and Meg is the same way. We're just we don't spend a lot because we like to
Yeah,
not
why not?
do that,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of how we roll. Yeah.
It's the smart way of it. So,
Yeah.
would you how far away are you from being a millionaire? Do you want to talk about that on the pod?
That's a loaded question. It's a loaded
I
question.
don't think so. I don't think it
Yeah,
is.
because I don't know that I want to talk about it anyway, but it's a loaded question because what does that mean? Does that mean do you include your primary residence? Some people don't. Do you
Yeah,
include
I
like
would.
business equity? It's kind of a tough question.
I would, yeah. I mean, to classify that, I would say that it is anything where if you had a year to become liquid or 6 months to become completely liquid, and you had to put that money on a table, that's your net worth.
Got it.
Yeah. So Jake doesn't want to talk about that.
Well,
So we'll move
I'm
on.
not there. I'm not there. I
Okay.
would say
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, definitely not
Is
there.
that something of importance though? The reason why I'm asking this is what is the biggest this?
I feel like I know the question. And my answer is being in Florida on January 21st because I felt like it. Like right now, like Meg and I were on UCF tours yesterday. We just like followed tour guides around during the day on a Tuesday. It was
That's
awesome.
funny.
It's
That
across
is
the street.
great.
So it was, yeah.
So that's answered part of it. So that's what is
Okay.
the goal. That's what is the goal to get to. And now one thing that I like to do in reverse order is that's the goal. How do you get to that? And if I already feel like I know your answer is just house hacking properties and making sure do you agree with the living below your means statement?
The statement that someone
Yeah.
should do that,
Yes.
it's what I do, but I don't believe that that's necessarily the right answer. I just like Meg and I align on this. We're just naturally not spenders. We'll randomly like buy $1,000 bed because there's practicality there. Like, I bet no one else has spent that much money on a bed or pillows, which we have.
Yeah.
It's more than 5K. So it's not like we're
What?
yeah. It's
How
not like
heavy
we're
is
like
that bed?
it's the heaviest. It is reclining. It's firm, which is our
How did you
choice.
get it into I have a quick little funny story. My aunt and uncle had this townhouse that they hired my brother and I to move their probably 5,000, maybe $10,000 bed from their garage up 3 floors to to their bedroom, and it was the heaviest bed. It took us actually like an hour. So
Yeah, I mean, I
that's
didn't do
why
it. The people
yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also bought a house in March of 2025 that still technically doesn't cash flow. No, I don't know many people that would have done that. You know, it's a rental property. When the tenants vacate and we like renovate it, you know, then it'll cash flow. We just parked our money there. We say, you know, we'll take a little loss, you know, because we house hack and because we don't spend too much. Like, this is the time that we can take that loss, and it's going to be a great asset when it is a great asset, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Absolutely. It goes more into the Dave Ramsey pie chart of your mind and where you should be parking your money, where if your mind is 80% real estate knowledge and 20% stock market knowledge, that should reflect your investing strategy.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm also in the stock market a lot, but not gambling. It's really just for like tax sheltering.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because like if you contribute into your IRA, or for me a solo 401k, then I pay less in taxes.
So I gotta talk to our accountant about that more.
Definitely. That's yeah.
I don't take advantage of that right now.
Well,
I don't.
you're not it's not too late. I did it for 2025 on like April 14th of 2025. You can
Mm.
like back assign it. I think maybe not past April 15th. I don't know. There's different rules. But I
Mm.
remember I did that because that's when the stock market was down. If you remember, there was like a big hit in April of
Yeah.
2025, and that's when I
Yeah.
got everything, and now it's up. So it's sweet.
Nice. That's good. That was
Yeah.
around was that around the tariff mark, I think?
Yes. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
why I pushed everything down. That was sick.
Nice. That's
I
smart.
mean, of course, I would rather have that money because one, I'm poor, and two, I want more real estate,
Yeah.
but I guess I'm diversified.
Yeah. How do you classify being poor? Like, you keep saying that.
Or broke. I don't know. There's one, I'm not poor, but I'm broke, or I'm not broke, but I'm poor. One of the two is true.
So does that mean like you feel as if you can't you're just like not comfortable? Like what is that? I know it's not that, but meaning like what I'm trying to get past this where I know I'm probably going to be in a position like that. If you're over leveraging real estate, you're probably going to feel that way at some point.
Yes. House
And a
poor.
lot of our listeners will probably feel similar where it's house poor, but it's house poor in an investment way. It's not like you're not buying $1 million house in Denville and having a $10,000 a month mortgage payment that's drowning you and you're the only one living there. Eventually like there's like things that like Grant Cardone, some things that he says that I don't like, some things that he says that I do like, where what I do like is don't buy stupid things with your hard-earned money. If you're going to buy stupid things, and this is like a rich dad, poor dad analogy too, buy it with the money that you are, compounding.
Exactly. And you can even boil it down to what your tenants pay you, right? It's like,
Mhm.
I mean, we've said like, yeah, it's sick. Our tenants paid for this Florida trip, or that's one way to look at it, right? It's not
Yeah.
necessarily true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would. That's what it is. You got all your money in assets. I mean, think about it. I was in 2023. That's when I quit teaching. So in that 2022-2023 school year, I was still a teacher. Now I also had realtor income and a couple properties. But with that being, I mean, like that's what we're talking about. What's a teacher's income? So if most teachers don't have 3 properties, while teaching.
Yeah.
So yeah, all my money's in there.
Yeah, and that's the security aspect too, where it's for me, if I don't close a certain amount of deals, then I'm a little bit more, I'm hesitant because there's a lot of moving parts where you brought up in the beginning where if a tenant doesn't pay their mortgage, and let's say both tenants don't pay, if I'm living in one of the units, now I'm responsible for covering a $4,000 mortgage when I could make 30, 40 grand in 1 month, but I could also make 3 grand. in 1 month. So that's where the scary part about it is. But as long as you're prepared for that, and honestly, I think this will get me to push harder to do better in my business. And I know that maybe that's not the best way to look at it,
No,
but
it's that does bring up a side combo, but yeah, that's why trapped equity is not shouldn't be a bad word. It should be a good word because you will care inherently less if 1 month goes by and your tenant pays late or doesn't pay or 6 month eviction process. All those things. It's like, oh, that's 6 months over 360 months. The hell is that? It's nothing. Like, oh, okay. It's kind of funny, actually. So what you don't want to happen, I'm a huge victim of this, but how can you not be, is, okay, you put all your money into assets. Now you're cash poor. So you have to hustle more and make more money. And
Mhm.
that cycle is just a different cycle than the one you were trying to avoid to begin this game anyway, right? It's just a
Mm,
different cycle.
that's a good,
It's, in my opinion, the better cycle, but it's
yeah,
still that hamster wheel of needing more
totally.
money.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of variables that go into the good side cycle, which you and I both agree on is the good, is where you're buying, where you're the one that's going out and you're becoming cash poor by buying assets instead of collecting cash. I think the scary part is there's moving parts when you're buying that stuff, where there's tenant turnover, there's vacancy, there's problems that can arise always. On the other side, and this is the more moral debate that I have with myself, the US dollar, like if we want to get into that whole conversation of, we won't get into it, but there's inflation that happens. I believe that
Yeah.
the stock market isn't as, you don't have as nearly as much control. There's a lot of different things that,
So
there's
investing is
questions.
necessary. It's not just
Yes.
preferred, but it's necessary. Agreed.
Yes.
But when you're past that point, and that's where back to my future situation, maybe next year when I've now made more money and I have money, maybe enough to afford another home, do I do it?
Mm.
Do we instead invest it somewhere else? Do we instead invest it nowhere and have this money because we have the trapped equity in our favor already? That's a tough decision, or it's a tough thing to live through because inherently we are looking for real estate deals all the time. What is something going to come my way and I'm going to be like, nah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that disciplined to be like, nah. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good with the 3 properties, which I am saying now that I feel like I am good with,
Mhm.
essentially probably by a couple more over the course of time, but not anytime soon. But I don't want you to hold me to that.
Yeah, well, honestly, I've been able to witness what, 3, 4, 5 paid off properties do for you at the age of 60. And if that's the goal, then there's nothing to worry about, because there's a there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If you just keep putting in the work of finding those good properties that are going to, that you're going to be able to find good tenants, that there's good appreciation percentages, and you're able to maintenance it, and you're able to do all that stuff, then it almost seems like a no-brainer for those to be investment strategies.
And I have 3 properties in North Jersey. They're each about 500K value. So that's 1.5. Let's say in 30 years when the mortgages expire, conservatively, it's a cumulative $2 million. Then I have $2 million of equity. And that's not even counting cash flow along the way. Let's just pretend I was breaking even the whole time. I feel like that's like I could take a knee, obviously I have to pay bills for 30 years, so I can't just not work. But in
Yeah,
terms of the trapped equity, that's allowing me to take a knee in that category.
totally. Now, do you think having $2 million in real estate is enough money for you to retire, though?
It's hard to say because what is my life in 30 years?
True.
Right now, I could have $200 and I'll be fine, you know? Literally,
Well,
I was gonna say I'm living like a college kid, but I actually literally am because I've literally been on campus all week here.
have you been getting Chipotle at the camp?
Yeah, Chipotle, Amish
Nice.
Pretzels Company or whatever. I bet you never heard of it because I looked it up
Never.
and it's just local to here. It's like a better Auntie Anne's. It's a $5 pretzel. It's incredible. It's
Wow.
so good. I gotta ask Kylie if she has ever had it.
Definitely not.
Definitely
Definitely
not.
not.
It's like on
Yeah.
campus. I doubt it.
Mm, yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome. This is the power of house hacking here. Instead of worrying about bills, you worry about the best pretzel spots. That's
And worry about bills, but that's second.
yeah. Yeah, fair. Fair. Well, Jake, this is great. How do we cap this off? This conversation has been all over the place.
Well, let's do a little podcast recap because this is our first 10 a.m. recording. So we usually do 2 p.m.s on Wednesdays, and it's 10 a.m. How do you feel about 10 a.m. so far?
My phone is being blown up as I imagine yours is. So um it's part discipline where you can now have the ability to take an hour or 45 minutes away from
Hmm.
your business day to be doing something like this, and especially the morning, which is a little bit more hectic. But I feel good. I feel like the juices are flowing. This is like motivating to me now where I could just go out and keep striking and make the
Yeah,
day and
that's how
seize the
I
day.
feel. I'm a morning guy, so I was juiced up waking up. I didn't go to the gym this morning, but I usually do, and I'm just like, I'm groovy. I want to talk forever now that it's 10 a.m. instead of 2 p.m. But
Yeah.
also, so our next several episodes, like months of episodes, will not be solo, right? We're pretty
Yeah.
booked up and through the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So this will kind of be the last time we were talking selfishly. So that's why we may have rambled on a little bit longer than normal. But yeah, so we are booked out up until I think like April for right now, which is awesome. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening and thinks they know a good person, a great candidate to be on the show, we can welcome them to fill out an application. Many will enter, few will win, but you can try. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely, guys. Well, thank you for listening to episode 31 of the More Smarter Show. Like, follow, share, and subscribe.
Only if you like it.